Father Simon and the Forgiving Crew. My tale goes back a few years to when I was running a cycling B&B in the Veneto region of northern Italy. During our 10 years of running the B&B, we had visitors from all over the world, from places as diverse as Australia, Canada, many parts of Europe, and, of course, America. Around 2017, I actually had a group of friends staying with me from my native northeast of England, which is quite a relief from some of the groups of needy and somewhat incompetent American riders, some of whom could hardly change gear and had propensity for dressing in very loud cycling shirts. This opening bout of xenophobia over, we move on. Needy American cyclists,
Okay.
So there we were, a group of 6 friends out riding in perfect weather in some of the most stunning cycling locations known to man. Our ride for the day was a nice warm-up along the valley floor before taking on the 11-kilometre climb to the beautiful little mountain town of Castello Ticino for some well-deserved espresso and gelato. The climb was typically Italian, with lots of hairpin bends and great views along the way. And around the halfway point, there was a particularly beautiful viewpoint where I usually stopped with guests for the obligatory photo opportunity. As we all lined up with our phones and cameras, I took out my phone, which had a function on it where instead of pressing a button to take a picture, you only had to say cheese, and the camera would take the picture. At this point, I did a little bit of research and found out this is definitely true. It's a Samsung Galaxy that has this feature.
You say cheese and it takes a picture.
Agreed. Yes, that's what happened.
Pressing a button.
Quite a bonus feature for a non-fruit-based device, says Barnard. We all lined up on the bridge overlooking the view to the valley below. I called out cheese, and my phone clicked, taking the photo. I then noticed my friend, we'll call him Bob, do a quick double take, looking at me in amazement and said, "How did you do that?" Seeing which way this was heading and knowing that his fruit-based phone didn't have this function, I said, you just turn on your camera, you point to what you want it to take a photograph, and you just shout cheese. Oh, cool, said Bob. Immediately held up his phone to take a picture. Cheese, he said. Of course, nothing happened. Bob looked a bit disappointed. Try a bit louder. Maybe it's volume related. I said, cheese! Bob shouts, no avail. But this time the rest of the lads are cottoning on. Mate, a little bit louder. Cheese! The mightiest cheese of all time. It echoes down the valley, but still nothing. I know what it might be. I said, we're in Italy. Try formaggio. Because it might adapt straight away. You know, it changes to the Italian phone company. Yeah. Anyway, so we do the whole thing. Formaggio! Still nothing. Biting my lip, I say, bit louder.
Oh, no.
And so on. The most thunderous formaggio resounding down the valley, bouncing off cliff walls. Birds took to the air. Other land-based creatures bolted for cover. Maybe it's made in Germany. Try Casa. Maybe it's made in China. Chisu. Maybe it's Swedish. Ost. Maybe it's a Spanish phone.
Queso.
There you go. Try that. Queso! Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Strange. I said that function must be turned off. You'll have to go into your settings, Bob, to activate. We don't have time. We've got to saddle up. Come on. Bob, by now puce of face and sweating with all the shouting, forlornly put his phone away. Later that evening, he spent an epic session in his phone settings looking for the cheese function that just wasn't there. He even tried the voice activating thing. Siri, find me cheese.
Find me cheese.
Father Simon, I would like to ask forgiveness, firstly from Bob, who never did access the cheese function despite many, many hours of scrolling through his settings. Secondly, for terrifying the wildlife of northern Italy, already have enough to contend with Italian hunters taking pot shots at them, which sounds like another story altogether.
It does. Okay.
And also to the cheese sellers of many nearby mountain farms who must have been preparing tables full of locally made cheese in anticipation of very hungry travellers who sounded mad for a bit of formaggio or queso or chisu, or just cheese. Anyway, Barnard it is sending in tonight's tale. What do we say to Barnard for apps? I mean, he was a little bit cruel, maybe, on his friend Bob. He never explained to Bob he just had the wrong phone, which didn't have the right function. Sister Susie from the pub.
Oh, Bernard, that really, my cheeks are hurting. That was very, very funny. I don't think there was any malice in it. And after the evening of spending looking for the cheese function, he probably did tell him, hopefully, or someone did, that it was the wrong phone. So I feel like that was just a bit of a laugh. We all had a giggle. What's the harm? I'm going to forgive.
Okay, looking good for Bernard. What do you say, Matthew?
Well, I'm going to. I mean, obviously, that got very dull Mayo advert midway through that, didn't it? Bob, it doesn't strike me as the brightest individual. Controversial, I know, but I don't think he is. The best bit of that is Bob spending the evening going through his settings,
Cheese.
trying to find.
I need some cheese.
Find my cheese.
Silly.
Someone is writing that app even as we speak. So I'm going to forgive because, you know, we've all got a friend who, bluntly, not the sharpest tool. And if you're going to have them shouting cheese into the valley, then you're going to take it. So, yeah, definitely forgiven.